Welcome to my latest case, The Curse of Blackmoor Manor. To start, choose Junior or Senior Detective. If you're new to adventure games or need some help, choose Gameplay Overview. Dear Ned, greetings from jolly old England. Although right now I'm not so sure about the jolly part. That's because I'm on my way to Blackmoor Manor, where the daughter of one of our neighbors is living. The daughter, whose name is Linda, recently married Hugh Pendleton, a British diplomat. Hugh travels a lot, so the only people at the manor with Linda are Hugh's aunt, Mrs. Drake, and Hugh's 12-year-old daughter, Jane. The thing is, ever since Linda moved into the manor, her health has gone downhill. She's practically bedridden, and no one seems to know why. Her mother is convinced something is terribly wrong and wants me to find out what. So here I am, about to be dropped off at a huge centuries-old mansion in the middle of a dark, foggy moor. I can't tell whether the butterflies in my stomach are because I'm excited or just a tad creeped out. Talk to you soon. I hope. Nancy.
Night, miss. Good luck.
Who's there? Hello? There's something out there!
Where, child?
Over there! I mean, something was out there.
Come in. I'm Mrs. Drake. I take it you are Nancy Drew?
Yes, and I really did see something, Mrs. Drake. I heard something, too.
Oh, people are always seeing and hearing things on the moor at night, especially you Americans. Why don't you just go on up to your room? It's the one with the moon on the door.
I'd like to see Linda, if I could.
I'm afraid Linda is, not quite ready to meet with you just now. But please, come see me after you've unpacked. I'll be in the conservatory.
All right, thank you.
This is the Drew residence. Please leave a message at the beep.
It's Nancy. Just calling to say hi. You don't need to call me back. Bye.
Hello?
Hi, Ned.
Hey, Nancy.
Just wanted to let you know I got here safely.
So how's Blackmoor Manor?
A little on the spooky side.
And what has Detective Drew discovered so far?
Just calling to say hi. I'll talk to you soon.
I'll be waiting.
You have reached the Petrovs. No one can come to the phone right now. Feel free to either leave a message or call back. Thank you.
Hello, Mrs. Petrov. It's Nancy Drew. I just arrived at Blackmoor Manor. Why don't you give me a call when you get the chance? Bye. Wonder what goes there. Something fits in here, but what? A tripod. For a camera, maybe?
I'm sorry, I cannot take your call right now. Either leave me a message at the embassy or call me back later. Thank you.
Boar's Head Pub, this is Tommy.
Hi, this is Nancy Drew.
Right. Nancy Drew, out at the old Blackmoor Manor, are you? Coo, you must be Hank Marvin up there. Pity about your kitchen, but we'll fix you up for some Becks posh. Just tell me what you'd like.
Okay. What do you have?
We've got some loop-de-loop, bangers and mash, a real fine pinky and perky, and a delicious dog's eye, me fork and knife, just rubber-ducked. Hello?
Could you repeat that?
Sure, we've got some loop-de-loop, bangers and mash, pinky and perky, and a dog's eye, and they're all Robin Hood.
I'd like some pinky and perky, please.
Good choice. Uncle Fred and Johnny Rudder?
Okay.
All right then, we'll come round and leave it at your Rory. Oh, and we've got no hot potato about, so it may take a bit, but we'll have it up to you in no time. Fish and taters.
John Penvillin.
Oh, Ethel, do I have to learn this?
Yes, I'm afraid you do.
If I do well, can we play a game?
Yes, but only in French.
Oh.
Oh, forget it.
Stay in Italy as long as you want, then. Some kind of husband you're proving to be. It's not all in my head. Don't bother.
Linda? Hi, it's me, Nancy Drew.
Nancy Drew, our friendly neighborhood detective. Well, welcome to Blackmoor Manor. I apologize for greeting you under such unusual circumstances.
So, how are you feeling?
How am I feeling? Well, I feel like... I feel like something really strange is happening.
Could you be more specific?
Could I be more specific? Ah, the ace detective is grilling me for details. I'm tired all the time, my mouth is dry, my vision is blurry, but that's not important. Here's what's important, Nancy. There are some doors that should never be opened. There are some doors that hold secrets which must never be known. That's everything you need to know. Now if...
Mummy, can I come in?
No, you're supposed to be in your lessons.
Lessons are over. I want to meet Nancy.
I said no, Jane.
Okay.
That was my stepdaughter. She can be such a pest sometimes. Anyway, I understand you feel an obligation to my mother, but trust me, there's nothing you can do. You're welcome to stay, but I strongly recommend that you go home as soon as possible.
Please, Linda, just tell me what's wrong. Linda? Okay, I'll let you rest, but I'll be back. I'm here for you if you need me. I haven't done that yet. Can't check that off yet. That's done. Can't check that off yet. Check.
Hi. You must be Nancy. I'm so pleased you're here. I'm Jane. I know you've come to visit my stepmom, but I'd love it if you could pop by whenever you get the chance. Oh, we'll have such fun. Let's play a game.
Sure, Jane. What would you like to play?
Let's play this card game I found in your room. Actually, it's Bridget's room. I mean, it used to be her room. I mean, she died like 300 years ago. You can see a painting of her in the Great Hall. She's the one with the telescope. Okay, so you have to match up a pair of constellations. I made all the matches in 40 tries. Try to beat my record. You beat my score! Felicitations!
That was fun. but I'd like to ask you some questions.
Sure, what do you want to know? About Mummy? I mean, Linda. I do hope you'll help. She's been a bit out of sorts lately.
When did she start getting sick?
I was playing in Mummy's room when she wasn't there, and when I looked up, there was a lady, all dressed in black, putting something on Mummy's nightstand.
The woman left something?
The lady put a note on Mummy's nightstand, but I didn't read it. That's when Mummy started feeling poorly. I don't want to think about that. Let's play a game. It will cheer me up.
Sure. What would you like to play?
Look inside the chest over there and pick a game. My great-aunt said it's a hope chest, so I put my games in there in the hope someone would come over to play. We can play Bull, Constellation Match, Petroglyph Punch, Skull and Bones, and I also have a jigsaw puzzle.
You sure have a lot of games.
I love games. I want to make computer games when I grow up.
Feel like playing Skull and Bones?
My friend Hugo bought this for me. It's like Go Fish, but you have to collect 3 of a kind of weird things like zombies and ghosts. You go first.
Do you have any tombstones?
Go dig. Any haunted houses?
All yours.
Your witches, please?
Sorry. Do you have any bats?
Nada. Your witches, please?
Sorry. Do you have any bones?
Here you go.
Do you have any coffins?
Here you go.
Do you have any zombies?
Nada. Your witches, please?
You're going to have to go dig. Do you have any bats?
Dig. Do you have any spiders?
Afraid not. Do you have any zombies?
Go dig. Do you have any skulls?
Get out your shovel. Do you have any spiders?
Here you go.
I got a match. Do you have any tombstones?
Sorry. Your witches, please?
Sorry. Do you have any haunted houses?
Here you go.
I got a match. Do you have any coffins?
Here you go.
I got a match. Do you have any bones?
Nada. Would you happen to have any ghosts?
All yours.
Do you have any skulls?
Go dig. Do you have any bats?
Here you go.
That's a match. Do you have any tombstones?
Here you go.
I got a match. Do you have any zombies?
Go dig. Do you have any skulls?
Go dig. You got a match. Good for you. Do you have any witches?
Here you go.
Do you have any bones?
Nada.
That's a match.
Would you happen to have any ghosts?
Go dig. Do you have any zombies?
Dig.
That's a match.
Would you happen to have any ghosts?
Sorry. You got a match. Good for you. Do you have any witches? I win.
No flies on you, Nancy Drew.
Have you ever seen anything strange outside?
Once I saw my Uncle Roger's toupee fly off during a windstorm. Talk about freaky.
I mean, have you seen a strange animal outside?
No, but I have heard weird noises like this. Howling. But not like a dog howling, more like something human. I don't want to think about that. It's scary enough having to live in this gloomy place.
The lady in black you saw in Linda's room, did she look like anyone you know?
Like I said before, I couldn't really see her face, but she was kind of dressed like the lady in the Great Hall.
Which lady?
Eleanor. I know it sounds weird, that's why I didn't want to tell anyone. It's too creepy. Sometimes I wonder if I just dreamed it all up. Mrs. Drake is always saying I have a rampant imagination.
I should get going.
Toodles! That's my family tree. Ask me anything about anyone. Go on, ask me.
Tell me about Randolph.
Randolph the Red, so named for his bright red hair, was considered a hero at the Battle of Poitiers. For his heroism, King Edward III awarded him with the lands in the region called Penvelin. That's how we got our name.
Who was Anor?
He was Odo's brother.
What did Guido do?
He made pizza. No, I'm joking, of course. I don't know anything about him except that he died in 1433 because he outlived all of his siblings.
Tell me about Simon.
He lived from 1358 to 1412. No, 1411. We don't know very much about him.
Odo, that's an odd name.
Yeah, he isn't very exciting, really. Like farming and cows. His son Milo is much more interesting.
Who was Agatha?
She was a nun. I think she lived in Ireland.
Who was Marjorie?
She died when she was a little girl. It was really sad.
What about Milo?
Milo inherited not only his grandfather's red hair, but his military prowess. Milo was instrumental in the siege of Caen and was awarded even more lands by Henry V.
What do you know about Cecilia?
She married the Lord of Limerick and did a lot of needlework. She had a ton of kids too, like 20. Can you imagine?
What about Jacobus?
He died when he was like 9.
And Hugo?
He had a lot of kids, and his dates were 1401 to 1466.
Tell me about Albert.
He was very mysterious, and the people of Blackmoor were afraid of him because he knew all these scientific things. No one knows much about him, though.
Who was Josephus?
Yeah, they used a lot of Latin names back then and weird spellings. He became like a priest or parson or something.
Who was Robertus?
He was a knight but died in some kind of jousting tournament. He was twins with Josephus.
Tell me about Lucia.
Isn't that a pretty name? If I have a daughter, I'll name her that.
Who was Adam?
Like he married Eve. Duh, no kidding. I actually don't know anything about him. I think he was the son of Hugo, though, but I forget.
Who was Anisha?
A nun.
Who was Jeanette?
It's Genet. I think he wrote plays, maybe. I don't know, I forget.
Who was Joan? Is that misspelled?
No, that's how they spelled it then. She got married to this duke somewhere in Flanders.
Tell me about Edmund.
He was into cows. He did a lot of breeding of cows and sheep and got some kind of award from the king.
Who was Nicolina?
She died when she was a baby. I have many ancestors who died young, but Ethel said that Penvillans in general live a long time.
Tell me about Walter.
He was born in 1448 or 9. I'm kind of bored doing this right now.
Who was Marge?
I forget. I think she was... I don't know.
Who was Charles?
Oh, Charles was a famous judge and wrote very important books on law. But his boy, Garrett, drowned while he was really young.
Who was Gillian?
She married the Duke of Ballingsford, but she stayed at Blackmoor to raise her son Thomas, who inherited the estate when his grandfather Charles died.
Tell me about Garrett.
He drowned on his 19th birthday.
Tell me about Thomas.
He was Charles's grandson and wrote a lot of poetry. He also had 3 wives, Catherine, Anne, and Mary, but not like at the same time. They died and he just remarried.
Tell me about Thomas.
He was Charles's grandson and wrote a lot of poetry. He also had 3 wives, Catherine, Anne, and Mary, but not like at the same time. They died and he just remarried.
Who's James?
He never married, but one day, when he was very old, a baby was found at the doorstep to the manor. He took her in and raised her as his own. That was Eleanor.
What did Francis do?
He got into a big fight with his brother James and lived in France.
Who was Elizabeth?
Like the Queen of England? Oh, you mean Elizabeth, my ancestor. It's weird that she's the only ancestor named Elizabeth, since it's such a popular name.
Tell me about Geoffrey.
I'd rather not. I'm kind of bored. Wouldn't you rather play a game?
Can you tell me about George, the one born in 1566?
He lived and died. End of story.
What can you tell me about Eleanor?
Just that she was burned as a witch, but it wasn't true, and her father, James, died when he saw her die, and then the family fled to France. I don't want to talk about this.
Who was Edward?
He lived in France with his father, Le Comte de Roquefort. He was very interested in languages and translated books from Greek and Latin.
Who was Virginie?
She was married to the Duke of Barrowbold and died in the Great Fire of London.
Tell me about Francois.
He was a dwarf and became a trusted confidant to Louis XIV. Little people often held positions of great esteem at that time.
Tell me about Corbin.
I don't know. He doesn't have a coat of arms in the Great Hall because he didn't live here. Wasn't even a British subject, that's all I know.
What about Colin?
Oh, this is so cool. They say he was a spy for England even though he lived in France. Isn't that so very? I'd like to be a spy.
Who was Frederic?
He was a soldier for the French. He was killed in the War of Spanish Succession in July of 1702.
Who was Helene?
Can we stop soon? Helene married the Duke of Bouville and died in 1760. End of story.
And Philippe?
He made a fortune in the New World and bought back most of the lands that were confiscated by Cromwell.
Tell me about Brigitte, the one who was born in the 17th century.
She was absolutely mad about cricket, the game, not the insect. She actually saw the first cricket match in 1744. Personally, though, I can't stand the sport.
Who was Théophile?
He lived most of his life on the island of Mauritius and discovered like 1 million plant species.
Who's Penelope?
I don't know much about her except that she was very loved by practically everyone in England, and there were 1 million poems written about her. If I have a boyfriend, I'd never let him write a poem about me. Blech.
Who's Marianne?
She got shipwrecked on this deserted island with a whole bunch of yahoos, and they wrote a story about it. Yeah, that's it.
Tell me about Jean.
Hello, it's pronounced Jean. He was killed by a boar on a hunting trip. They eat people's flesh, you know? No, I'm kidding. But he really did get killed by a boar. Serves him right, though, for hunting some poor little animal.
It looks like George and his brother Henri died in the same year. What happened?
They were lost at sea. I guess they traveled a lot to Canada, especially to Oak Island.
Tell me about Martha.
She was completely daft. She'd wear really bizarre outfits, and she was one of the first women to ride on a steam train.
What do you know about John?
He was an opera singer, just like my mom. He sang in some Mozart operas, I think. Just like my...
Tell me about Brigitte, the one born in 1759.
She never married and was bonkers for astronomy. She adopted her sister's son, Richard, who later got killed at Waterloo.
Who was Peter?
Let's see. He had a wooden leg and he was attacked by wolves once. That's all I remember.
Who was born in 1763?
That was Isabel. She wrote many letters about the French Revolution and actually saw Marat's dead body in the bathtub. Talk about gross!
Who was Jacques?
Don't laugh, but he invented the lawnmower bag in 1831. I swear I'm totally not making this up.
Tell me about Richard.
He died in Waterloo fighting against Napoleon.
Tell me about Edward, the one from the 19th century.
He was a big explorer and went all over the world. He wasn't very close with his son, who was also an explorer. They'd only see each other by chance in weird remote places like Samarkand and Walla Walla.
Who was the William who died so young?
He was Edward's little brother. He named his son after him.
Who was Caroline?
Caroline was a chemist and helped identify the element lanthanum. I'm not sure what the element does. I think it's a heavy metal.
Who was William?
He was an explorer just like his father. He was kind of a whiner, so I heard.
Were Cassandra and Hector twins?
Uh-huh. Cassandra was totally obsessed with lawn tennis and was one of the first people in England to have a court installed at her home. Hector was the first ball boy.
Who was Cynthia?
I don't know. I'm kind of tired right now.
Wow, Catherine sure lived for a long time.
She lived the longest of any Penvillain. I hope I live that long, but not if I'm all, like, creaky and cranky.
What did Sophia do?
She was a big collector of Impressionist artwork, but most of it was destroyed in a fire.
Tell me about Rose.
It's a real sad story. She and her granddaughter Rachel lived in France during the war and were killed.
Tell me about Arthur.
He lived in the Wild West in the Americas and was a bandit with El Diablo's gang.
Who was John, the one who was born in 1873?
He was this huge naturalist and did a lot of exploration in the Amazon. I think there's a plant named after him. Or maybe a monkey, I forget.
Who is Malachi?
He was a doctor of medicine and did a lot of research on icky skin diseases. Happily, I'm blessed with perfect skin.
Who was Rachel?
She died in France during the war. I guess she worked for the French resistance.
Tell me about Obadiah.
He lived in the U.S. for most of his life and married this weird woman named Eustacia. She's still alive and sometimes calls us. She's totally creepy.
Who was Esther?
Esther Penvillain Romberg, born in 1897 and died in 1951. Her friends called her Polly.
What did Nahum do?
He died in the flu epidemic.
Who was Alan?
He was my grandfather, but I didn't know him because he died when I was little. I guess he was nice.
What do you know about Letitia?
Loves plants, hates noise. You can ask her about it. She's usually in the conservatory with her plants. Nigel gave that to me when I was in the library once. I think he was hoping it would scare me, but it didn't. I'm too smart to believe in that sort of stuff. I used that to make cakes for Lulu the parrot. That's why the ingredients are so nasty. Like I would eat mealworms.
Who's this?
That's my mum, my real mum. She's an opera singer. It's not like she's famous or anything, but she does live in Paris.
What is this book?
Don't know really. Ethel gave it to me. She said it belonged to my grandfather. Do you think Brady Armstrong is cute?
Each of those cups seems to be associated with a Roman numeral.
That was written by Charles Penvillain way back in like the 1500s. When I read it, it seemed really familiar, you know? I totally love that show. Isn't Brady Armstrong so dreamy? Total hottie.
You had a guinea pig?
Yes, but it died.
When?
I don't know. I'd really rather not think about it, all right?
Looks like you're learning some interesting stuff.
Bet you wouldn't say that if you were the one who had to learn it.
Oh, you startled me. You must be Nancy. I'm Jane's tutor, Ethel.
Hello, Ethel.
Jane is very excited you're visiting. You're all she's talked about for the past week.
I saw Jane's lesson schedule. That's quite an unusual list of subjects.
Yes, well, I'm sorry, but I'm in a bit of a rush. I need to go over some things with Jane.
Oh, I guess I'll be going then.
It was a pleasure meeting you, Nancy. Our paths will cross again, I'm sure.
I haven't done that yet. Can't check that off yet. Can't check that off till it's done. This must be Mrs. Drake's room. Oh, it's just a parrot. Scared ya? No, you didn't.
Did you? Did you?
What's your name?
Lolo, 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 Lolo.
Okay, I get the point. Lulu.
Lolo, 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 Lolo.
Do you by any chance know Latin?
viste rogavit, bene vidi vici, semper ubi sub ubi morituris rogavit, bene vidi vici, semper ubi sub ubi morituris
I'll take that as a yes. I'll take that as a yes. Would you mind translating something for me?
Fire away.
Bruma?
The longest day of the year is solstitium, the summer solstice. The shortest day is bruma, the winter solstice. Equinoctium vernum is a spring equinox. Equinoctium autumnalis is a fall equinox. Day equals night. Lulu's always right. Day equals...
Bye, bird.
Bye, bird. Who's the pretty bird in the mirror?
I need the key. There goes my cell phone. Hello?
Hi, Nancy. It's Mrs. Petrov. How is everything? Have you seen Linda yet?
Literally speaking, no, but I did talk to her. Not that she told me anything.
I'm just about at my wit's end. I've never known her to act like this. The last doctor that examined her said that aside from a little dry skin, which is not unusual for her, she was perfectly fine.
Why is she hiding behind that curtain?
I have no idea. When I was out there last week, I got fed up and pulled the curtain back. She threw a fit, but otherwise she looked absolutely normal. A little pale, perhaps, but who wouldn't be pale, cooped up like that? Something has changed her. Something in that house. Hugh is just as bewildered and upset by her behavior as I am. Please get to the bottom of this, Nancy. You're our last hope.
Where is Hugh?
He was called to Rome. As a diplomat, he's always being called out of the country without warning and without any say in the matter. He'd much rather be there with Linda, although...
Although what?
It's just that Hugh said it hasn't been very easy for him to talk to her lately. Whenever he calls, which is at least once a day, Linda always seems to fly off the handle for no reason, which doesn't make sense. Linda has always been extremely level-headed and even-tempered. She never gets angry. At least she didn't used to.
Who exactly is Mrs. Drake?
She's Hugh's aunt. She's taken care of Blackmoor Manor ever since her brother died. He was Hugh's father. She's a bit of a character.
I noticed.
The way she spends all her time in that conservatory, slouching around, trowel in hand, murmuring to herself. You'd think she was burying something. Or somebody.
Goodbye, Mrs. Petrov.
Goodbye, Nancy. Oh, one more thing. My niece is on call and her husband's out of town, and I told her I'd go over there and babysit if she had to work. So if you call and I don't answer, that's why. Bye.